So let's see in details about plant and animalia. So first, plants. So the first level of classification among plants depends on whether the plant body has well differentiated distinct components. So first level of classification among plant, we will see that whether the plant body is well differentiated or not. Well differentiated means which we can easily differentiate, which we can easily notice. So first we will see that whether the plant body is well differentiated or not. Then the next level of classification is based on whether the differentiated plant body has special tissue or not. We will see that whether the plant body has special tissue or not. Special tissue for what? For the transport of water and mineral from one part of the plant body to another part of the plant body. So next level we will see that whether the plant possesses specialized tissue or not. Then the further classification looks at the ability to bear seeds. The next we will see that the plants have the ability to bear seeds or not, and if the plants have the ability to bear seeds, then we will see that whether the seeds are enclosed within fruits or naked. Okay, so first level of classification among plants depends on whether the plant body is well differentiated or not. Next level of classification depends whether the plant possesses specialized tissue or not for the conduction of for the transport of water and other substances within it. Then the third level of classification, we will look at the ability to bear seeds, whether the plants have the ability to bear seeds or not, and if the plants have the ability to bear seeds, then whether the seeds are enclosed within fruits or naked. Okay, the next comes to the subcategory of plant A, that is Thallophyta. Plants that do not have well differentiated body design fall in this group. So the plants who do not possess well differentiated body design are fall under the category of Thallophyta. The plant in these groups are commonly called algae. So the plants of this group, which group? Thallophyta group, are commonly called algae. Then these plants are predominantly aquatic. It is predominantly aquatic. Thallophyta are aquatic plant. Example: Spirogera, Eulothrix, Cladophyra and Sara. These all are the examples of Thallophyta. Okay. Then Bryophyta. Bryophyta is otherwise known as amphibians of the plant kingdom. Why Bryophyta is otherwise known as amphibians of the plant kingdom? You know, because these plants can live in soil. Bryophyta can survive in soil but are dependent on water for reproduction. For reproduction, they are dependent upon water. So that is why it is known as amphibians of the plant kingdom. I repeat, Bryophyta can survive in soil but are dependent on water for reproduction. Okay. They usually occur in damp, humid and shaded locality. So in which locality Bryophyta can occur? Damp, humid and shaded locality. However, there is no specialized tissue for the conduction of water and other substance from one part of the plant body to another. Bryophyta do not possess specialized tissue, and hence it does not possess specialized tissue. That means it does not conduct water and other substances from one part of the plant body to another part. Okay. Thallophyta also do not possess specialized tissue. Bryophyta also do not possess specialized tissue. Examples of Bryophyta: Moss, Marsantia. These are the examples of Bryophyta. The next, Pteridophyta. In these groups, the plant body is well differentiated into root, stem and leaves. Here, the important point. Pteridophyta is the well differentiated plant body differentiated into root, stem and leaves, whereas Thallophyta and Bryophyta are not well differentiated plant body, but Pteridophyta are well differentiated plant body. Next important point, Pteridophyta has specialized tissue for the conduction of water and other substances from one part to another part of the plant. So Pteridophyta possesses specialized tissue, whereas Thallophyta and Bryophyta do not possess specialized tissue. Pteridophyta possesses specialized tissue, so that is why conduction of water and other substances within it is possible. So pteridophytes are used for medicinal purpose. For medicinal purpose also pteridophytes are used. It can be grown as ornamental. For ornamental purpose also pteridophyta can be grown. Then next important point, evolutionary. They are the first terrestrial plant that possesses vascular tissue, that is xylem and phloem. Short question may come. Which are the first terrestrial plant that possesses vascular tissue? So evolutionary, Pteridophyta are the first terrestrial plant that possesses vascular tissue, that is xylem and phloem. Example of Pteridophyta: Marsilia, fern, horsetails. These all are the examples of Pteridophyta. Then The thylophytes, the bryophytes, and the pteridophyte have naked embryo that are called spores. I repeat, thylophytes, bryophyte, and pteridophyte have naked embryos that are called spores. Okay. The reproductive organs of plant in all these three groups are very inconspicuous. You know what is inconspicuous? Inconspicuous means not easily noticed or hidden form. Okay, which we cannot easily noticed, that is known as inconspicuous. So the reproductive organ of thylophytes, bryophytes, and pteridophyte are very inconspicuous. Means the reproductive organ of thylophyte, bryophyte, and pteridophytes are not visible. Therefore, they are called cryptogamy. Cryptogamy means the plant who do not produce seeds, because it is the reproductive organ of these three plants are invisible. No, so seeds, they do not produce seeds, and if they produce seeds, then we will see. But here it is cryptogamy, means no seed is produced, so that's why we are unable to see, or those with hidden reproductive organs. Okay, as I told you, inconspicuous means hidden form. So the reproductive organ of thylophyte, bryophyte, and pteridophytes are inconspicuous, are hidden, we cannot see easily. On the other hand, plant with well differentiated reproductive tissue that ultimately make seeds are called phanerogams. So the plant with well differentiated reproductive tissue means which we can see easily and which easily makes seeds are visible to all. So if the seeds is visible, that type of plant are called phanerogams. Means the plants with well differentiated reproductive organ, which we can easily differentiate the reproductive organs or tissues of the plant, that are called phanerogams. Okay. Then seeds are the result of the reproductive process. Obviously, after reproduction, seed is produced. So when the seeds are produced, when we can see that seeds are produced, which we can easily see, that are known as phanerogams. These groups is further classified based on whether the seeds are naked or enclosed in fruits. Then again it is further classified based on whether the seeds are naked or enclosed in fruits. Again it is further classified into two groups, gymnosperm and angiosperm. Gymnosperm. The term gymnosperm is made up of two Greek words, gymnos meaning naked and sperm means seeds. So here the plants who fall under the category of gymnosperm have naked seeds. So the plant of this group bear naked seeds, as I told, and are usually perennial. Perennial means the plant who lasts for longer time, like 2 years, 3 years, this type. Evergreen and woody. Examples are pines, such as deodar. Examples of gymnosperm are this. Then angiosperm. This word is made up of, again angiosperm is made up of two Greek words. Angio means covered and sperm means seed. That means here the seeds are covered. The seed develop inside an organ. So here the plant who fall under the category of angiosperm, here the seeds develop inside an organ, means seeds are covered. Seeds develop inside an organ, which is later on modified to become fruit. So these are also called flowering plant. Plant embryos in seeds have structures called cotyledons. Cotyledons are also called seed leaves. Cotyledons are also called seed leaves. Because why cotyledons are called seed leaves? Because in many instances they emerge and become green when germinate. Why cotyledons are called seed leaves? Because many times what happens, that cotyledons emerge and become green during germination time, like leaves like structure, they emerge, they grow like leaf like structure. So that is why it is called, cotyledons are called seed leaves. The angiosperm are further divided into two groups. Again angiosperm is further divided into two groups. On the basis of what? On the basis of number of cotyledons present in the seeds. Plants with seeds having single cotyledons, means the plants who have single cotyledon are called monocotyledonous or monocot. Or the plants with seeds having two cotyledons are called dicots. Okay, so again angiosperm is divided into two groups based on the number of cotyledons present in the seed. So first one is plants with single cotyledon. Plants with seeds having single cotyledons are called monocotyledonous or monocot, or plants with seeds having two cotyledons are called dicots.